I love Harry Potter. I just watched every movie out of order for some reason, but with Fantastic Beasts coming out, the new Harry Potter movie, they've been, streaming, they've been binging, what's the right word? I don't know, they're playing a marathon, there's the word, of all of the Harry Potter movies. But I have a question. Why is it that many people on the left can't find an analogy for things outside of a children's book series? This story from Wired. He who must not be named. What Alex Jones and Voldemort have in common. Yes. Yes, Alex Jones is Voldemort. They've called Trump Voldemort because the only thing they can do is reference a children's book when they have criticisms of things in politics. But why? Why is Alex Jones Voldemort? I don't even understand. We're going to read this and try and understand what Zeynep Tufekci is talking about. That's the author of the piece. But I honestly, for those that are watching, can you in any way understand what the relation between Voldemort and Alex Jones is? I mean, maybe, what's her name? Rita Skeeter. She was the woman who wrote the tabloid news in the series. I think her name was Rita Skeeter. I can't remember. But why Voldemort, right? Okay, well, let's read it. When Alex Jones crashed the congressional hearing looking into big tech platforms back in September, Lord Voldemort kept coming to mind. Whose mind? Why? Why are you thinking about a children's book series while a congressional hearing on big tech is happening? Please tell me. Even if you haven't read the Harry Potter books, you probably know that almost no one in the wizarding world speaks this arch-villain's name aloud. He is referred to only as he who must not be named, or you-know-who. In the final book, Voldemort puts a curse on the name so that merely uttering it acts like a beacon for the wizard's crew of Death Eaters. Is that true? I don't remember that. Did that happen? I don't know, whatever. Eager to communicate something crucial about the evil lord's latest plot to his friends, Harry at one point blurts out Voldemort's name. What follows are many, many scary pages. Jones is a kind of real-world Voldemort. Speak his name to condemn his conspiracy theories, and you draw more attention to his hateful ideas. It's like fighting fire with oxygen tanks instead of fire extinguishers. The tools breathe more life into the flames. I also would like to point out this kind of misconception. Oxygen is not a fuel source, it's an accelerant, okay? People think that oxygen is flammable. It's not. It's an accelerant. Fire needs oxygen. Fire is not a fuel for oxygen necessarily. It's an accelerant. I'm not going to get into fire science. I'm not a firefighter. But the point is, you could actually fight fire with oxygen, to put it simply. Have you ever blown out a fire? Right? We know that fires need oxygen. If you blow on it, it goes out. If you had a big oxygen tank, you could probably put out a fire if it had enough force. This is I digress. Sorry for that. This is attention gaming, and Jones excels at it. At the hearings, Jones sat behind Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg and Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey as they testified, streaming the action from his phone. He heckled Marco Rubio as the senator talked to reporters. His stunts blew up online and got him into the New York Times. Jones has been spreading his rage-fueled disinformation for a while, but I have rarely written about him publicly. With the exception of 3 tweets among tens of thousands I've posted, I haven't referred to Jones by name on Twitter. He was you-know-who to me. This was a deliberate decision. I knew that he counted on his critics to amplify his message. I didn't want to broaden the reach of his curse. His curse. His curse. Because as we all know, the only analogy for politics anywhere, at any point, is Harry Potter. You must, by all means, call everyone Voldemort. Even Alex Jones, the guy who doesn't... Look, I understand if you want to call Trump Voldemort. That I can understand. I disagree. I think it's silly. But at least you understand that Voldemort is a leader of something. Trump is a leader of something. Trump is your nemesis. Voldemort is the nemesis. But Alex Jones has nothing to... It's just ridiculous. So why am I naming him now? The fuss Jones made at the Capitol was a last gasp. He'd just been banned from YouTube, Facebook, Apple, and Spotify soon after, and was also banned from Twitter. He'd been deplatformed. Now that his Voldemort-like powers had vanished, it's not just possible to discuss Jones, it's necessary. His deplatforming is easy to celebrate. Though some may wish that good speech is the best way to drive out bad speech, the harms he perpetrated can't be dealt with in the marketplace of ideas. There is no reasoned debate or enlightened compromise with the idea that the parents of children, the Sandy Hook children, were just actors in a false flag. I'm pretty sure he issued an on-air apology for that because he got sued. He got sued twice, I think. Nor is there anything to say about his claim that Klan members are Jewish actors pretending to be the bad people from World War II. YouTube's going to hurt my channel if I say these words. Yet while I'm happy that Jones has lost his megaphone, I'm troubled both by the system that let him have it and by the way it was taken away. Simply put, the influential digital platforms are built to generate more Voldemorts, while also amassing worrisome amounts of centralized power. Sure, let's talk about Voldemorts. Let's talk about other Voldemorts, because I happen to have this story here. Check your facts from today. Fact check. Are Facebook's top stories almost all from conservative sites? Now, what does this have to do with Alex Jones being called Voldemort? Well, it has to do with this idea that Alex Jones is somehow the worst purveyor of fake news. In this instance, it's actually people in the media who are pushing out fake news that had to be fact-checked by checkyourfact.com. And that fake news is that apparently people seem to believe that all of the top stories all the time on Facebook are conservative. And they push this because they want to discredit the idea that Facebook and social media censor conservative ideas, which they do. Plain and simple. Facebook less so than others, it's a fact, but Facebook did at one point actually, their editors on the trending team were getting rid of conservative stories and conservative outlets because they were biased. That's a fact. They apologized for it. Facebook now tends to do a little bit better, though they still are biased. Twitter actually is literally biased, and the best example I can think of is that Megan Murphy, a feminist, said men aren't women on Twitter and got suspended. The point is, conservatives tend not to agree with a lot of the trans activist ideology, and if you do disagree with that, if you're conservative or a radical feminist, you'll be banned, because Twitter is biased, plain and simple. But in this story, you have members of the media pushing out, once again, BS. So here we have the story. People on Twitter said Tuesday that the top stories on Facebook each day are nearly all from conservative sources, citing a tweet from New York Times technology writer Kevin Roose. Here we have Zach Everson, and Facebook's top stories each day are almost all from conservative sources. We then have Richard Carpel. The top stories every day on Facebook are almost exclusively conservative. This is all fake news, by the way. Then we have Jennifer Hayden. This is the same every single day. We have a crisis on our hands. Once again, just not true. And look, for Kevin Roose was talking about one day. So the original tweet came from Kevin Roose. He said, today's top stories on Facebook are from Ben Shapiro, Daily Caller, 9gag, TMZ, Unilad, Franklin Graham, Fox News, the other 98%, Fox News. Link posts only, 24 hours ranked by total interactions, data from CrowdTangle. One day. Factually true. Kevin Roose. On point. Everyone else latched onto it and pushed the fake conspiracy theory. Verdict. False. The Daily Caller News Foundation used CrowdTangle to analyze the top 10 performing posts on Facebook each day from November 1st to the 20th and found that while posts from conservative pages did appear in the top 10 more often than liberal or mainstream pages, the posts were not almost all conservative. In fact, I believe the numbers they actually have were, where are we at? 72 stories were conservative and 56 were liberal. Almost all. No, just a slight majority. So it's funny then when we see this, the hatred, the absolute hatred over Alex Jones. They say platforms are in the business of harvesting attention, and Jones and his kind are good at delivering it. That's interesting. That platforms are in the business of harvesting attention. Is that why you made this nonsense article where you compare Alex Jones to Voldemort? Because you know that using Harry Potter tags will amass a lot of left-wing readers who then want to see the comparison between the villain in a children's book series and Alex Jones, who was recently deplatformed and they can dance around. And this is pandering, okay? Just like, completely honestly, why do I make videos? For the same reason, harvesting attention. I get it. I was talking the other day about the most important thing that I can do every day and everything I create is make sure that what I'm talking about is interesting. It has to affect you in some way, has to matter. So when I see a story like this, they're comparing, once again, the people on the left like using the Harry Potter narrative. I think it's interesting. I think it's impactful. I think it plays paradoxically to this exact issue. Calling out people who write nonsense articles because they're trying to generate clicks. It's not news. And here I am criticizing it. Because at least, as I can recognize I'm doing something not too dissimilar. She's calling out fake news from Jones. I'm calling out her for putting out this piece in an attempt. Look, if she wrote a piece that said, Alex Jones has been deplatformed, let's talk about what happened. I'd be like, okay, sure. But doing the Voldemort thing, I'm like, facepalm. And then the reason I bring up the check your fact is just to highlight they are not immune. The media does the same thing. I do the same thing. We all do it. You can't be invincible. We're not perfect. The media does this, okay? So to claim this Voldemort nonsense is absurd. Just point out the fact that media's job is to get your attention and try and give you some information. There's various types of content. Some is fiction, some is nonfiction, some is entertainment, some is information, some is infotainment, right? This channel you're watching, full stop, infotainment. It's my opinion channel. It's where I talk about things that bug me. My main channel, rather different. It all still is entertaining for most people. But my main channel is more informational, less entertainment. This channel is more entertainment. I get it. I'm not going to ever play this game of calling someone Voldemort to try and generate clicks. Okay, maybe I have. I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to say that because I'm not good. I'm not the best. I'm just another dude who's doing something basically what she's doing. And I think it's just silly. It's actually kind of a loop, right? She made this article calling out Alex Jones as fake news, so I made a video calling her out. It's rather interesting how that works, right? But I think what's omitted from this is that this kind of presents the narrative as the good reporters fighting for real information and criticizing the fake news. And what I want to try and do is say, yes, you can criticize Jones. I'll criticize you for the Voldemort nonsense. I'll criticize the media for the conservative claim. And I will make sure to say I am not perfect either and probably fall into many of the same traps. So the least I can do before I sign off for the day is say, what she's complaining about, she is also guilty of. And I am pointing that out, but also saying I'm probably guilty of it too. So at least there we can all understand nobody's perfect. Stop trying to pretend like you're better than Jones. You're not. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow on the main channel at 4 p.m.